So what you need to do first for the metallic foils that we're going to use is put down a sizing agent. And it's a slow set size, they call it. And what you do is you can brush, roll it, or spray it onto the surface. And it is a self-leveling agent, which means that it'll sort of level out to almost as smooth as glass by itself. Now, it does have a little bit of an amber cast to it, but with this foil that I end up putting over it, you won't be able to see any of that when it's all said and done. So, usually if I'm on a job site, I'll take a little 9-inch roller with a real small snap sleeve, like a 1/4 inch, and I'll roll it on.
Oh, okay.
And you'll get little bubbles, but don't worry about them because they settle out. And that's what I meant by self-leveling.
All right.
So once that's done, and usually you can do 1 or 2 walls at a time and let it tack up. Now it takes about an hour to an hour and a half for it to tack up.
Okay, now when you mean tack up, is this going to be like almost the same process as gold leafing?
Very
the
much.
Foils? Okay.
You are so smart.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to pass full finishing class.
That's right. It's just like gold leafing. So for those that do that, it's very similar to that process. And you can hear the tack.
Okay.
And when it's tacky like that, it means it's ready for you to put the foil on. And that tack will last with this slow size probably 4 to 6 hours. So you have a lot of working time.
Oh, good.
Now, the nice thing about this metallic foils is, and a lot of people use gold leafing like you were describing, but it comes in little teeny baby leaves. Well, this you can get on 12-inch rolls like this, or you can get it on a 2-foot. Would you mind holding?
Nope.
On a 2-foot long roll as well, and it can go up to 100 feet in length. So you can get 200 square feet on one roll. And you'll be amazed at how fast this transfers.
Okay, so now you just crumpled it.
I did because I don't, I'll show you in a second. What happens is you'll be able to see some of those creases, sort of like when you do a tissue paper finish on your wall.
All right.
And now you just rub it down and then you peel it off and you'll see that it transfers almost 100%. And those little teeny creases you can see give a little bit of an extra texture and pattern to the design.
That is gorgeous.
Now you could go ahead and
I almost
take...
need sunglasses on. This is
It's very bright. It is. It's very bright.
Beautiful.
Let me go ahead and put another piece on, and then I'll show you how to take a little glazing medium, and we'll settle that back down, and we'll end up using a color that are sort of copper and red to give almost a verdigris finish. Now these foils come in wide varieties of colors. You can use... this is called celadon green. There's pewter, there's gold, there's antique gold, there's brass, there's all kinds of colorations. And you can even use the little salvage pieces to fill in.
Oh, cool.
Any area where it's blank, just take it back, rub it down,
now,
and it transfers again.
Is this really expensive like gold leafing typically is?
No, it's like major inexpensive. For a roll that's 200 foot in square footage, costs about $60.
Wow.
And it transfers almost 100% on your wall. And it's really fast because if you're on a wall, you have one person hold on one end, another person stretches it all the whole length of the wall, and you slowly tack it in, rub it down, peel it off, and in about a minute, you can cover 2 foot by whatever length of your room it is.
Oh, my gosh.
So it transfers very fast. So now you want to take a little bit of a copper color, a metallic copper, and I'm just going to brush it onto the surface. And it's straight paint, so I don't want to work too big of an area. And I'm going to take a little bit of a red.
Now, would we typically need to worry about the tack going away at all or anything before we go to the paint? No?
It won't matter.
Okay.
With what I'm showing you is exactly the way I do it on a job. It won't matter at all because that tack is still tacky underneath there, but I'm doing a positive application. I'm not really doing negative. As you can see, and now I'll take a slightly damp rag and model that around that, and that cuts down that sheen a lot.
All right.
But it also gives a little bit of a verdigris, sort of a coloration, to that celadon green foil.
Wow, it gives it such a much softer look to it. Tones it down a lot.
Tones it down a lot. Now, the fun part comes in because I call this treatment shimmer and lace. Obviously, the shimmer is the metallic.
Right.
Now, I'm going to use lace. And this lace you can buy at any big, home decorating store. And these are curtains.
I was just going to say, where would be a great place to get this lace? It was a garage sale. Somebody tossing out old curtains.
It's perfect. You want to get something that has an open, big weave to it like this does, because it's going to transfer better. And on a wall, you can get these curtains so they're 8 foot tall. So you can do your whole wall on one stretch.
Okay.
And then just butt a panel right next to each other like you would a piece of wallpaper.
Okay.
So on the wall, I'm going to end up really taking push pins, just like I'm going to do on this table, because I want to make sure that that material stays where I put it. Because once I start to trowel my heavy embossing material through it,
We don't want to pull it and then lose our image.
that's right. And I
Okay.
have that potential of that happening if I'm not careful. So that said, I think if you'd put a few more of those in there,
Sure.
I'll start mixing up my color. And what I'm going to end up doing is using this heavy material. You could even use drywall mud. This is another material that's made of marble dust and an acrylic polymer. And then you can colorize it to any color that you want. And I'm going to use a brown and a green that sort of ties in with that coloration from below already.
Okay. Now, can we reuse this lace, though? Because that
Yeah.
looks like some pretty gooky stuff there.
You can. What we do is I have a 5-gallon bucket of water on the job, and you can only use the panel once. And when you put that up and you trowel through it, then throw that lace right into the bucket of water, and then rinse it out thoroughly, and then let it dry, and then you can use it again.
Okay.
But really, for a nominal amount of money, you can hang enough lace to do a whole room all at once.
Wow.
Because this is really inexpensive material. So now what you want to do is you want to take it and just trowel it onto the surface, as you can see, and make it go smooth to the area, and it'll end up going through the lace just where you have that, and the lace will act as sort of a barrier coat. I got the little pins coming everywhere, but and you can see how you can still see your pattern ever so slightly through that.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little bit more, and then I'll lift it up. But if I'm doing a whole section, I would do that whole panel all in one sheet.
Okay.
And then I would finish that panel out, and then I would lift it up. Now when I lift it, you'll be able to see that you can see the lace pattern show through the design.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's so awesome.
Now, I'm just going to move this off to the side because there's one little quick last step. And what we're going to do, and this board is now dry, the one I'm going to show you, with that lace that we've had from before. And this one has the stones all done, and you can see how all the pattern shows up in that material.
That is gorgeous.
So now what I want to do is take a little bit of a glazing material and add it to my color and darken it up a little bit. And I had some of that copper from before. And I just now want to brush it over the surface. And again, this will soften it down and sort of marry those colors together a little bit again. And again, you could use any color combinations that you'd want.
I know. Every time that you bring a new finish for me, a lot of the times they're not colors I would typically think to put together. You know, like when you're laying everything out before we get started, and then it's like everything just works perfectly together.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you just work and marry the colors together, you can see on this final piece how that ends up looking when it's all done.
Wow.
Because and that's what the room will end up looking like. The nice thing is you have that sort of shiny look, and then you have the matte look of the material on top.
That's beautiful. All right, Gary, I think that we've got a new way to revive some old walls in our home. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.